He gave her life with his own body, but on her wedding day, everything shattered. Loyalty, betrayal, and revenge collide in this unforgettable true story. It all started in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, where Marcus and Taiisha met during a block party in the West End. He was a mechanic with rough hands and a softer heart, the kind of man who fixed more than just engines. She was a stylist with big dreams and a laugh that could make strangers turn around just to hear it again. Their love came fast, loud, and messy, just like everything in the South. They weren't rich, but they had each other. Taiisha had been battling lupus quietly for years, not telling Marcus until it became something she couldn't hide, until her kidneys began to fail. He found out late one night, when she collapsed in the kitchen, breath shallow, eyes fluttering. The ambulance came screaming through the neighborhood, and Marcus sat in the waiting room of Grady Memorial for 10 straight hours, praying with his hands over his face. When the doctors told him she needed a transplant, he didn't hesitate. Didn't ask questions. Didn't call his mama to talk it over. He just said, "Test me. I'll give her one of mine." Turned out he was a match. The surgery was hard, the recovery harder. He couldn't work for months. The bills piled up like dirty laundry. But he smiled every time he saw Taiisha get stronger. Her skin started glowing again. She was laughing like she used to. She started talking about opening her own shop again. And Marcus? He was just happy to see her live. But as she healed, she also started pulling away. It was little things at first, changing her lock screen from his photo to some abstract art. Not answering calls right away. Telling him she was tired when he wanted to talk. Eventually, she moved out, saying she needed space to figure herself out. 3 months later, Marcus found out she was engaged. To a real estate dude named Daryl. Smooth-talking, designer suit-wearing type from Buckhead who drove a Tesla and called people king and queen in that fake deep way that made Marcus's stomach twist. It wasn't just that she left him, it was how she left. Like he was a pit stop. A stepping stone. Like the kidney he gave her was just another item on a checklist. Word spread fast through the neighborhood. Folks talked. Some pitied Marcus, others laughed behind his back. Said he was stupid for giving so much to a woman who dipped out as soon as she could walk again. He stayed quiet. But something in him broke. The day of Taiisha's wedding was bright and hot, the kind of Georgia day where sweat comes easy and patience runs thin. The ceremony was set in a bougie garden in Midtown, with white chairs, a harp player, and mimosas passed out like church pamphlets. Taiisha stood at the altar in a white lace gown that hugged her like second skin. She was all smiles. Her mama was crying. Daryl was grinning like a man who thought he'd won the lottery. And then, the back doors of the garden pushed open hard. Gasps spread through the crowd like wildfire. There stood Marcus. He wore all black. A long coat, boots, and a look in his eyes that made time stop. In his right hand was a small black pistol. Not waving it wild, just holding it low, steady. Like he knew exactly what he came for. People screamed. Some ducked. Others froze. The harpist ran. Marcus walked slowly down the aisle, straight toward Taiisha. Daryl stepped in front of her, puffing his chest like a man who'd never been in a real fight. "Don't," Marcus said. "Come. Flat. This ain't about you." Then he raised the gun, just high enough so it pointed straight at Taiisha's forehead. "You got 2 choices," he said, voice low but clear. "Give me back my kidney, or marry me. Right now." Taiisha's face went pale. Her hands trembled, the bouquet slipping through her fingers and hitting the grass like a dropped mic. The crowd was dead silent. And Marcus just stood there, finger not quite on the trigger, but damn near close. Taiisha's lips parted, but no sound came out. Her mascara, flawless just minutes ago, started to smudge at the corners of her eyes as panic welled up. "Marcus," she said finally, voice small. You're not serious. This ain't funny." "I don't see nobody laughing," Marcus replied, his hand still steady, eyes locked on hers. "You think you can just walk away with a piece of me inside you? Smile in my face while you walk down that aisle with him?" "Nah." Daryl stepped in again, arms raised like he was doing Marcus a favor. Hey, bruh, this ain't the way to handle it. You need help. Let's talk this out, men to men. Marcus didn't even blink. Ain't no talk. You knew who she was when you met her. You knew what she took from me. I didn't, Daryl started, but Taiisha cut him off. Marcus, please. You gave it because you loved me. You said it was unconditional. Yeah, Marcus said, voice breaking just a little. I did love you. I gave you a part of me I can't get back. Then you ghost me. Like I'm just a donor. Like I was just a phase before your glow up. You think I ain't heard how you talk now? How you say you survived? Nah, girl. We survived. You just forgot who helped you make it. The crowd was still frozen. Somebody's grandmama fainted on the side, but nobody moved to help her. All eyes were on Taiisha, Marcus, and that gun. Then Marcus took a step closer. You don't want to marry me? He asked again. Cool. Then give it back. My kidney. Give it back right here, in front of everybody. You know I can't do that, she screamed. You'd rather I die. He lowered the gun a little, eyes narrowing. You already dead to me. That line hit harder than the gun ever could. Taiisha's knees buckled, and she caught herself on the edge of the altar, breath ragged. Daryl tried again, pulling her behind him like he was gonna be the hero. You gotta leave, man. Cops already on the way. Marcus smiled, but it was hollow. Let em come. I just wanted her to hear it. Wanted y'all to hear it. That heart beating in her chest right now. That's mine. That life she living. Mine. That fancy dress, this pretty-ass wedding, her whole second chance. Built on me. A murmur went through the crowd. He stepped back, slowly, gun still at his side. Looked around at the guests. Y'all came here to see love, he said. Instead, you saw the truth. Then he turned. Started walking back up the aisle, slow and deliberate. But just as he reached the last row of seats, a voice called out. You walk out that gate, Marcus, you don't ever come back. It was Taiisha. Voice trembling, but louder now. The fear in her face had turned to something else. Guilt. Maybe anger. Maybe regret. She stepped out from behind Daryl and walked toward him, barefoot now, veil half off, bouquet long gone. You came here with a gun like that was gonna fix what's broke. But it don't. You wanna know the truth? You gave me that kidney 'cause you loved me. But love don't mean control. Love don't mean I owe you forever. Marcus turned, expression unreadable. You hurt me just now, she continued, in front of everybody I love. You humiliated me. But I ain't gonna scream. I ain't gonna cry. You wanna shoot me? Do it. But you ain't ever getting my heart back. Not the real one. Silence fell again. And for the first time that day, Marcus looked lost. Marcus stood there, the weight of her words sinking deep like concrete in water. The gun in his hand suddenly felt heavy, too heavy. He looked at Taiisha, not the woman in the gown, not the woman who broke his heart, but the woman he once held all night after her dialysis, the woman he thought he'd grow old with. Her face was streaked with tears, but her spine was straight. Strong. Not scared anymore. The crowd was silent, not daring to move. Even Daryl looked like he didn't know what to say or do. Marcus's hand trembled, just a flicker. Then he dropped the gun. It hit the grass with a soft thud. I ain't come to kill you, he muttered, eyes glassy. I came to make you feel what I felt. What you still got inside you. Thought maybe that would make you understand. Taiisha walked closer now, barefoot dress dragging through the grass. She stopped inches from him. I do understand, she said. But you don't get to punish me for living. For moving on. That kidney, it was a gift. You said it with your whole chest. That day at the hospital, you looked me in the eyes and said, I want you to live. And now that I'm trying to, you want to take it back. Marcus closed his eyes. You used me, Taiisha. She nodded slowly. Maybe I did. Maybe I got caught up in surviving and forgot to look back. But you showed up here with hate in your heart. And it's killing you. Not me. Blue and red lights flickered at the edge of the garden now. Sirens, faint but grow. Police coming, someone whispered from the crowd. Marcus didn't move. Taiisha glanced over her shoulder at Daryl, who was frozen stiff, phone still clutched in one hand. Then back to Marcus. I won't press charges, she said quietly. But you gotta go. He looked at her one last time. Eyes locked. No more words left. Then he turned, walking back down the aisle he'd just marched through like a storm. Slow. Alone. No one dared stop him. The sirens were close, but somehow, the cops didn't rush in guns blazing. Just a slow approach, weapons drawn, as Marcus dropped to his knees on the sidewalk just outside the gate. Arms raised. Silent. Inside the garden, Taiisha stood under the altar, her dress stained and spirit shaken. Daryl came to her, but she didn't speak. Didn't lean into him. Just stared down the aisle, chest rising and falling like she'd been running for years. Someone finally broke the silence. So, y'all still gonna say, I do? Taiisha didn't answer. Her eyes never left the gate. The preacher cleared his throat, awkward, like he was trying to reset a whole atmosphere that couldn't be reset. Daryl reached for Taiisha's hand, whispering, baby, let's just finish this. He's gone. Don't let him ruin this day. But she didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't even seem to hear him. The harpist was long gone. Guests whispered. Some were already grabbing their purses and heading for their cars, leaving behind empty champagne glasses and half-sad, half-scandalized looks. Taiisha finally looked at Daryl. Not soft. Not cruel. Just tired. Ruin it, she repeated, her voice hoarse. You think this man just ruined my day? Daryl stepped back, his smile faltering. You think I can stand here, in front of God, say vows about love and honesty and forever, right after that? Like none of it touched me. You want me to pretend this dress don't feel like a lie now? Taiisha, what he did. What I did, she cut in, her voice rising just enough to make Daryl shut his mouth. I lied too. To him. To myself. To you. She looked down at her gown, fingers twitching against the lace. I didn't come here clean. I came here running. I thought if I stood at this altar with you, I'd finally forget the pain. The guilt. What I owe. Her voice cracked on that last word. I thought love was just something new I could trade up to. But that man, he gave me life. Whether I loved him back right or not, he gave me life. And you know what I gave him? She took a deep breath, stepping back from Daryl. I can't marry you. Not today. Not like this. The preacher stepped aside. Daryl looked like he'd been slapped in the soul. You for real? She nodded. Tears slid quietly down her face now, but her expression stayed firm. I'm sorry. I do love you, Daryl. Just not enough to lie through a whole lifetime. And with that, she turned and walked, slow, barefoot, bouquetless, down the aisle. Alone. The crowd parted without a word. By the time she reached the gate, Marcus was already in the back of a police cruiser. Handcuffed, head leaned against the window, staring blank into the distance like his soul had gone somewhere else entirely. Their eyes met, briefly. No words exchanged. But something passed between them. Not love. Not apology. Something more complicated. A knowing. A wait. And then the door shut. The cruiser pulled away. And Taiisha stood at the edge of that garden in her wrinkled wedding dress, arms hanging loose, mascara smudged, heart cracked open, but breathing. For the first time in a long while, breathing. She stood there for a long minute, watching the cruiser disappear into the traffic, its lights no longer flashing, just blending into the noise of Atlanta's late afternoon hum. Behind her, the venue had unraveled into soft chaos, guests murmuring, some consoling Daryl, some just pretending they hadn't seen him and pull a gun on the bride 5 minutes ago. The cake sat untouched, the DJ slowly packing up without even a sound check. Everything that was supposed to be picture perfect now looked like a scene out of a broken dream. Taiisha didn't look back. Instead, she stepped out the gate and started walking. People in the street looked at her, some with curiosity, others with recognition. A black woman in a wedding dress walking barefoot down Edgewood Avenue wasn't something you saw every day. But she didn't care. Not about the stairs, not about the whispers. Each step on the warm concrete grounded her. Reminded her she was still alive. She ended up at the park by the MARTA station, sitting alone on a bench shaded by an old tree that had probably seen 1,000 stories pass beneath it. Her dress was stained now, her feet scraped, and her body trembling from adrenaline and confusion, but she felt lighter. For the first time in years, there wasn't a man standing next to her defining what her future was supposed to be. Not Marcus. Not Daryl. Not anyone. She sat there until the sun started to fall behind the buildings, bathing everything in gold and shadow. Somewhere behind her, a kid rode by on a bike blasting Old Outcast. A couple walked past, holding hands. The world kept turning. And then, her phone buzzed. It was a text. From a number she hadn't saved. But she didn't need to. She knew who it was. They said I'll be out by next week. Just a charge for the weapon. No priors. Guess I got lucky. Another message followed. I meant what I said, Ty. All of it. But I ain't expect you to choose me. I just needed to be heard. I'm sorry for how I did it. That wasn't right. She stared at the screen. Then another one came. If you ever want to talk, not as lovers. Just two people who went through some real shit, I'll pick up. If not, I'll stay out your way. No pressure. Just peace. She sat there, staring at those words. And after a while, she typed something back. Her thumbs hovered over the screen for a long time. She thought about everything, about how love and pain had twisted themselves around her like vines. How survival had a cost, and how she paid it without realizing who she owed. She thought about Marcus's face behind that glass, raw and angry, but underneath it all, still full of ache. Still full of her. She typed. I ain't mad at you no more. I just didn't know how to carry everything you gave me. Still learning. Maybe one day, we can talk. Then she added something else. Thank you for my life. She hit send. Not expecting anything back. Not needing anything either. Then she stood up, smoothed down what was left of her dress, and started walking again. Not toward a man. Not toward an altar. Just forward. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over Atlanta. Behind her, the church bells rang, not for a wedding, but just because it was 6 o'clock. And in that moment, Taiisha finally felt something close to free. We will be stopping here. Comment your opinion on this and subscribe for more.